Hopefully it should warm up a little bit now. And then just bend your knees, one foot then the other foot, bringing the soles of the feet flat onto the floor. And lifting the right foot off the floor, just take your thigh over your chest. So the left leg remains bent, the right thigh just suspended over the chest, and just hold around the back of the leg, the back of the thigh or the back of the knee with both hands. As you breathe out, just gently squeeze your thigh into your chest, bending the elbows just to ease that thigh closer into the chest. Breathing in, just let it release up again. And twice more as you breathe out, just easing your thigh into your chest. Feeling the back of the body in contact with the floor and gently feeling the hips opening deep in the groin and working this hip joint. That's great. When you've finished your 3 movements, just release your hands and extend your right leg right up into the air, making it as straight as you can. Bearing in mind that if you have tight hamstrings, your knee may need to stay a little bit bent. Try and make the foot flat so the foot is parallel with the ceiling. Feel how that stretches the back of the calf and the hamstring. And as you next breathe out, keeping that leg straight, lower your heel all the way to the floor. So breathe out, keep that leg straight, just lower the leg all the way down to the floor. As you breathe in next time, lift this right leg, keeping it straight, lift it right up into the air. So your left leg remains bent, but if you want to work a bit harder, you can extend your left leg out so that it's straight on the floor too. That will mean you work a bit harder. So we're working quietly with the breath, being very mindful and full awareness. As we breathe in, we lift the right leg nice and straight up into the air. This requires the quads and the abdominals to work. And as we breathe out in a nice controlled way, we lower that heel all the way to the floor. So again, the abdominals are working. If you want to make it work harder, stretch that left leg out along the floor. But bearing in mind that puts a bit more strain on the back, it requires stronger abdominal action, and it's stronger on the hamstrings. The next time you take your right foot to the floor, make this your last movement. And then when you finish, just bend both knees once again. This time, take the left thigh over the chest. Hold around the back of that knee, interlace the hands, 3 little movements so that you bend your elbows and squeeze and ease your thigh as close into your chest as your body will allow you as you breathe out. Breathe in, release it back up again. Breathe out, ease and squeeze. When you've finished your 3 movements, just remain still with both knees bent. So we're working quite deep into the hip, into the deep hip flexors, into the hip joint itself, keeping it healthy. The joints are like gates of the body, gates of tension, gates of blockage of energy. So we need to keep the joints healthy through their full range of movements. Finish with both feet on the floor, knees bent. And then extend your left leg into the air. Do it slowly, but see if you can get a good extension of the knee. The foot is flat, parallel to the ceiling. This is an inversion anyway, with the leg higher than the heart. So it helps with lymphatic drainage. It helps with the blood flow and circulation. While your leg is here, just rotate the ankle 3 or 4 times one way, nice big circle, just feeling those little cracks and creaks, and then the other way. And then the next time you breathe out, lower your heel to the floor. Seeing if you can coordinate the end of the out breath with the heel touching the floor. So all you are working with is your own breath rhythm. Breathe in and lift. You can straighten out your right leg if you want to work harder in this posture. Breathe out and lower, breathe in and lift. And just do this another 3 times. So your mind has to be fully aware of what you're doing, not only on focusing in breath and out breath, but also with counting. So it helps to center the mind and focus it, helps to prevent it getting so distracted. It gives it something to do. 5 movements in total. And when you finish the 5 movements, again come back to the base position of the knees bent, the feet flat on the floor. But feeling this movement working into the quadriceps, the thigh, into the abdominal muscles. And little by little slowing us down. Okay, so we're all finished. So we're going to start to work into core strength and the abdominal center, an important energy center of the body. So if you can just straighten out one leg, straighten out the other leg, so both legs are straight along the floor. And we're going to begin lifting the upper body. I'm going to do it very gradually and gently because some of us may have stronger abs than others, so we just need levels to work at. This movement again is done on the out breath. The whole of the lower body is going to stay in contact with the floor. So take a nice breath in, and as you breathe out, simply lift the head to look down at the toes. Breathe out, lift the head, look down at the toes, and breathe in to release it back down. Do that once more on the out breath. As you breathe out, lift the head, just look down at the toes, and breathe in to release it back down. Now this time we're going to see if we can lift the head and the shoulders. So slowly the upper body comes off the floor a little bit more. So breathe out, lift the head and the shoulders off the floor. Starting to work into the abdominal muscles. Breathe in and release. Do that again. Breathe out, head and shoulders. So you can just start to feel the abdominals, the transverse, and the rectus abdominis working. In, up, sorry, out, up, in, down. This time, the hands and the arms are going to stay on the floor, but see if you can lift a bit of the upper back too. So see if you can lift a little bit higher. And the nice thing about working in stages is that you can stay at a level that you're happy with. So you have to work quite strongly into the abdominals to get that lift. Breathe out and lift. Lifting up as far as you can go. Okay, and then the next time you do it, whichever level you're comfortable at, see if you can lift the arms so that they're just level with the thighs. And this is the final movement. So breathe out and lift. Lift up, arms level with the thighs, just to a level you're comfortable with. Out, sorry, in and down. So out, up, in, down. And you can stop this whenever you're tired, whenever you've had enough, but see if you can just do 2 more. Having a rest whenever you need to, just working at your level. Great. And then when you finish, just resting on your back, on the mat. Just noticing how you feel after that movement. Our center for personal power, inner strength, inner power, is located at the hara center, at the belly center, just below the navel. And this is where we build our vital energy. So these practices begin to increase our core strength, which increases our inner strength too. And just like I've taught you there, different levels, you choose a level, you work with your breath. It is about taking personal responsibility for taking care of yourself. I am here to guide you. You need to listen to your bodies and do the level that's right for you. So if you can please just turn yourselves over onto your fronts. Make sure that your heads are facing me so that you can at least see me, but turn to lie on the front of the mat. And we're just going to begin to do some simple back bends, leg lifts and things. We're not going to stay too long here. Oh, it's warming up a bit anyway. That's it. So just rest on the front of your body. Elbows bent, just rest your forehead on your hands. And resting here, the forehead's resting on the hands. See if you can get a sense of the breath here, just before we begin the movement of the legs. Breathing in and out through the nostrils, taking the breath as deep into the body as you need to feel the belly pushing against the floor. This is quite a nice way of teaching abdominal breathing, because most people, even if they are so badly chest breathing and their abdomen just doesn't move at all when they're sitting or lying on their backs, quite often they can get a sense of it here. So that when I'm coming round, because your abdomen can't move forwards, the back of the body flexes more. So I can see, maybe you can feel, I can see your lower backs lifting and raising a little bit as you breathe through the abdomen. So see if you can breathe and feel the belly pushing into the floor as the diaphragm within the body pushes down, it pushes the abdomen out. So you get more movement in the back of your body. And then we're going to get ready for some simple leg movements. And I want you to focus on feeling the work in the back as we lift the legs. So just become aware of both of your legs. The whole legs in contact with the floor, the front of the feet flat, the legs quite close together, and the front of the hips pushing into the floor. We're going to lift the right leg first, so take your awareness into the right leg. Notice what the energy in that leg feels like. Any tingling sensations or heaviness. And when you next breathe in, keeping that leg straight, keeping the front of the hips pushed into the floor, just lift that leg high enough to begin to feel the movement in the back, the muscular action through the back, and breathe out and lower your right leg down to the floor. Do that 3 more times. Breathe in, lift the right leg. It might not go very high because we want to keep the front of the hips pressed into the floor. Breathe out and lower. Breathe in and lift, out and lower. And hopefully you're feeling that working in the back, so that we know simply by lifting our legs we're already working into back bends. 4 times on the right, and then we'll do it on the left. So when you finish the right, just gently swap over and breathe in and lift the left leg, out and lower. That's it. So the note go very high, but we feel the movement in the back of the body. And then when you've finished your 4, just rest with the legs straight. And we'll just see how we get on with this one. So this is going to be an upper body lift into a back bend, but very, very gentle. So if you can separate your hands out and just bring your hands so that they are in line with the head, elbows bent, for upper arms at kind of at a right angle. So the arms are just resting alongside the head with the elbows bent. Yeah, hands facing forwards, that's great. Forehead on the floor or chin on the floor, whatever's comfortable. And we're going to breathe in and lift and see if we can just lift the head and the shoulders off the floor and the arms stay on the floor just to begin with. So we breathe in and lift, and the head and the shoulders lift, and we're just moving into a back bend. Can you all feel that in your backs? Breathe out and lower. And just do that once more. Breathe in and lift. You may need to bring the hands a little closer in. Breathe out and lower. And do it once more. But as you breathe in and lift, don't push into the hands. Just feel the movement through the back muscles. And then just push up into the hands at the end, just a little bit. And breathe out and lower. And then if you felt quite comfortable with that, this time we're going to just lift 3 times on the in-breath and see if we can lift the hands off the floor at the same time. So we breathe in and lift, and the hands and the arms just raise. Keep the feet on the floor, breathe out and lower. And just do that twice more if it feels comfortable for your body. If it doesn't, keep the hands on the floor. 3 times. Back bends are fantastic for stimulating the nervous system and are great for lifting the low mood of depression. Very good. And then when you've finished your 3, we're just going to push up into all 4s. So just begin to push up through the hands onto the knees. And if you're comfortable doing so, glide the buttocks back onto the heels, leaving the hands where they are. So we stretch out in chakrasana. Forehead to the floor, or 2 little pillars with the hands, and rest the forehead on the fists of the hands, or the block, or the means. Just coming to a level that you're comfortable with. Yes, sometimes when we can't quite sit on the heels like that, it's quite good to get a block. Yeah, then sit on that, or 2 blocks. Yes, yeah, you have to be careful. So a block or 2 blocks, or even 3 blocks. Or another alternative is to put them between the knees and sit on that, because we have to look after our knees. Yeah, yeah. But if your knee is really dodgy, we can do the same on the back. It's up to you. What do you feel? Yeah, okay. That's it. So this is a very good restorative posture, specifically for anxiety. But again, focus on the breath. And then when you're ready, just walk the hands back and just come up to kneeling or a comfortable seated posture. So sometimes a couple more blocks might help for you to sit on and things, yeah. And, you know, we shouldn't be, the blocks are here to help us. The blocks and the props are tools to help us get the best out of our bodies. So we shouldn't see them as a weakness or a failure. They are specifically here to help us, yeah. And I use them a lot too. Okay, so we're just going to do some work in a sitting posture. So do make sure that you're comfortable. Get a cross-legged seated posture where you can sit up straight through the spine. So a couple of blocks if you need them. Or you can even adopt a posture with the knees just out a little bit, whichever's comfortable for you. But sit up so that the spine is straight. And feel the head just lifting from the crown of the head, like you have a puppet string on the crown of the head, and the spine is just lifting up nice and straight, the chin parallel with the floor. And just bring your hands by the side of the body. So we're just going to work into a seated twist, just a gentle one. I'm going to twist to your right. So bring your right arm behind you. So the heel of the hand is close into the buttocks. And the arm is quite close into the body, so it kind of acts as like a support. Bring your left hand onto your right knee. And lift up as you breathe in. Just lengthen through the spine. And as you breathe out, just ease yourself over to the right. Twist the body over to the right. Breathe in to come back to center. That's it. Just going with a degree that you're happy with. And then we'll swap over. So taking the left hand behind you, the right hand onto the left knee. Always begin by lengthening. So breathe in and lengthen through the spine. So we increase the space between the vertebral discs and then twist, just in a way that you're comfortable with. And then breathe in and come back to center. And we're going to do that twice more each side. And we've got the hang of the twist. Now this time as we do the twist, try and feel the body moving. First of all, the twist happens in the low waist, and then it happens through the mid-waist, mid-chest, and then it happens in the upper chest, and finally the head turns to look over the shoulder. So it's kind of like a 3 or 4 part twist. Go careful with your neck. You know, if you've got any neck problems, just work your neck to the degree that you're happy moving it. So right hand behind you, left hand onto right knee. Breathe in and lengthen. So we fill those intervertebral discs with fluid. Breathe out and twist from a nice lengthened spine. 3 parts from the bottom, then the middle, then the top, and then the head looks over the shoulder. And breathe in and come back to center. Working with your breath length. Yours was likely to be quicker than mine, then the other way. Remember, breathe in and lengthen, and then breathe out and twist to the speed that you're happy with, and breathe in to come back to center. And once more to each side, and hopefully you're beginning to feel the sweetness in that twist. It's very nice to twist. Breathe in and lengthen, breathe out and twist. Twists are fantastic for the nervous system. They kind of wring us out. It's like wringing stuff out of us. The mind and the body are one unit. We live in a very disconnected way when we have these symptoms. We are not connected, but ultimately the two are intimately connected. And it's very, very common in all types of psychotherapy that recognizes that emotional stuff gets locked into the body, yeah? When we have bad things happen to us, when we have negative emotions, they somehow, somewhere get locked down in the body. The body holds on to stuff. That's often why we get ill. And that can be MS or ME or anything. So the asanas kind of wring them out, slowly but surely. They release stuff, often without us consciously knowing it. And that is what the tension's about. Kind of when stuff's locked down in our body, it's called a neuromuscular lock. Everything kind of locks down around it. So slowly but surely we're working on the body, behavioural level actions, we're doing postures, and we can also treat this to begin to release stuff, you know, so that we slowly but surely live a much more lucid, clearer, tension-free life.
Sorry, is that why after last week's session, by late afternoon I was feeling really quite grotty?
Yeah.
It's almost like had I released toxins or things that I hadn't realised were locked down because I felt rubbish.
Yes.
But the next day I felt great.
Yeah. You will have a bit of that. It has to happen. If we've got stuff locked down, when we start to bring it up, it gets released. So temporarily we might feel a little bit worse, and that's kind of stuff being flushed out. That's happened quite quickly with you.
Yes. Didn't feel quite well.
Yeah.
Nothing bad.
Yeah, just out of sorts. Yes.
Felt really energized,
Yeah, because this is how it happens. It's a very physical thing and it's an emotional thing, and the two are so linked. So when we've been doing a lot of twists and that, I would say drink lots of water, because it does help to flush stuff out. I mean, the massage therapists say that, don't they? And it's the same kind of thing. We're releasing blocked energy. We are all about energy. I am a scientist by background. I've done a master's degree in research in science. We are energy. And this is about energy blocks and energy locks. You know, ultimately we are waveforms, you know, quantum dynamics. On a very fundamental, that's what we are. And stuff gets blocked and locked, and as it gets released, we flush it out, and temporarily we might feel a little bit worse as that's happening. So thanks for asking that. If that makes sense to everyone, yeah. Okay, so let's come to standing, hey, because I think we've done enough sitting. We'll come back to this. So just nice and safely, just come to a standing position. So let's take our socks off, because it is warmer now, isn't it? And we are going to take a slightly wider base in a minute anyway. So yoga begins to work on the deeper systems of the body. You know, if not in the first couple of weeks, but over time. And we can do certain practices that encourage that. So our neurochemical system, our hormonal system, you know, the master glands of the thyroid and our hormones and the chemicals in our body releasing endorphins and things. So quite often people do have an imbalance in the thyroid gland, which is a gland that's here. It's kind of just behind the Adam's apple or just in front of the Adam's apple, you know, kind of where that is. kind of a butterfly-shaped gland. So this next exercise is quite nice to work on this. Some of the stronger postures like shoulder stand and all those, they work on it too, but to be honest with you, I mean, I've been teaching for 7 years. I don't ever teach shoulder stand, never teach headstand, because they're advanced postures, yeah. But this is a nice way of exercising that gland in a similar way. So just take a comfortable standing posture with the feet comfortably apart. We always begin in yoga just to feel grounded, because the standing postures, the root postures are very important. So just take your awareness to the soles of your feet and just feel that sense of your energy grounding through the floor and meeting the floor. Feel the legs strong, because the legs are very, very powerful. You know, they're the most powerful part of our bodies. The quadriceps are the strongest muscle of the body. Use a lot of blood flow, a lot of oxygen when we're working them. So feel the legs strong, because they are strong. And feel the apana energy. You know, in yoga we teach all kinds of types of energy management. And that is the most important thing in life, you know, energy management. Forget time management, it's all about energy management. But that's another topic. But your energy here, from the pelvis downwards, is a very downwards moving energy. So feel the energy moving downwards into the floor, grounding you through your strong legs, through the whole length of the soles of the feet. And have a sense of the energy of the floor. I mean, we're on the first floor here, so we're not on the ground. So it might not feel quite as strong as if we were on the ground, but nevertheless, it's strong wooden floor. Feel the energy of that floor coming up to meet you and receive that. So we begin to have this sense of feeling grounded, of feeling centered. And then take your hands and just place them around the back of the neck, like so. Interlace the hands comfortably around the back of the neck, yeah, right at the base of the skull. And breathe in and just open the body, open the chest, open the heart. And as you breathe out, we're just going to use a little bit of pressure on the hands just to ease the chin down towards the chest and just bring the elbows in together. So just do that that's comfortable for you. You know, any neck problems, just go carefully. But if you're okay in your neck, you can actually put a bit of pressure on and really just use that pressure in the back of the hands just to ease the chin down towards the chest. Some of us can actually get the chin on the chest, some of us can't. And while you're here, what we want is a little kind of law of physics thing going on. So we want to stretch the neck up a little bit so that we can feel some resistance in the head and the neck, and at the same time squeeze the elbows together and increase the pressure on the hands so that we're resisting upwards with the head and the neck, but we're easing down with the hands, and so we have a little action-reaction going on, like a resistance effect. And just keep breathing as you're doing this, because obviously when we are holding these postures, sometimes we have a tendency to hold our breath, but just keep this sensation going on for the minute. See if you can just hold it. So we're activating and working on the thyroid, keeping that back nice and straight. And then just release your hands completely and just let the head float up. Almost, maybe some of you get a sense of like what I get with this. Depends on how well you've done it, but almost like there's no weight in the head. Like the head's weightless. It's quite an interesting effect. But you have to have quite a good sense of the pressing down with the hands, but at the same time trying to, you know, like lifting up with the head at the same time as we're pressing down with the hands to get that quite strong action-reaction, to then feel just suddenly the head becomes weightless. The head is the single heaviest part of the body. And the tendency for most of us, most of the postural problems that I see, because yoga eventually corrects a lot of postural problems, the most common one is kind of the tendency to we want to be here, but the tendency is to kind of this. In kyphosis, rounding the shoulders, head looks forwards, and then the worst case, kind of little old woman stance, isn't it? It's like when the head's like looking up like this. All sorts of horrible pressure on the neck. It's a root to neck pain and headaches. And it creates tension in the upper back and in the trapezius. So it does fire headaches around to the forehead. So that works on that and on the thyroid. So let's just work our shoulders a little bit. So just scrunch your shoulders round one way 3 times, and then the other way, just bring them backwards, forwards the other way. Just releasing the shoulders. And then when you've done that, just bring the arms out to the side and turn the palms up and try and take your thumb behind you and back, so we stretch out through the arms. And then the other way, so turn the hands and try and inch the thumb upwards and back. So we're just stretching out through the arms, and just do that a few times. So one way and round, so twisting the arms. It's working into the shoulders, gravity working with the arm strength, helping to build bone density. That's it, and just where you can get to, just releasing through the shoulders and the arms. That's it, a couple more times. All the way through and under. Okay, and then just turn them up and just release them, shake them out a little bit. And come into tadasana. So just bringing the feet and the legs together, just about 1 inch or 2 inches apart. So a bit closer together than perhaps you're comfortable with, certainly what you're normally standing like. The feet are parallel, and we feel quite grounded and centered. The knees are soft, so if you have a tendency to kind of ratchet back the knees in hyperextension, just soften the knees a little bit so there's a micro bend in the knees, and the tailbone can be long. And just bring your hands in front of the body, interlace the fingers. And 3 times with the breath, just breathe in and lift all the way as high as your shoulders or quadratus lumborum will let you. Breathe out and down. Sorry, latimus dorsi, a big muscle down the back. Breathe in and lift. So sometimes people only get to about here, and that's because the lats are short and tight, or the shoulders are. Breathe out and lower. So just do 3 more of those. I'm just going to swap the tape over so I've got the final bit recorded.